guys, welcome to Home Sweet Homeschool. If you're new here, my name is Ashley and I'm a homeschooling mom to one. And in today's video, we're going to talk about 3 things that we don't do in our homeschool. Now, this video is a part of a collaboration hosted by Davine over at Calm in the Chaos Homeschool and Shauna at Homegrown Homeschool. So be sure to check out their channels as well as the playlist that will be down in the description box below. So there are a ton of things that we don't do in our homeschool that probably a lot of other homes do, and that's fine, and you probably feel the same way. So I just decided I was going to pick 3 out of the blue that we don't do, and I see them as being pretty common, so that's what I'm going to share. Now, I don't want you to come at me for sharing these things. I'm not trying to bash anybody or say that what they're doing is wrong or silly or anything like that. All I'm saying is some people do this in their home, and we do not, okay? And so that's what I'm sharing today. So let's get into it. I don't want this video to be super long. The first thing that we do not do in our homeschool, and again, don't come at me if you do this, we do not raise chickens or make our own bread. Honestly, guys, every time I turn on a video, it seems like, or I'm watching Instagram, somebody's talking about their chickens or collecting eggs, or they have their sourdough starter on the counter and they're making bread. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you enjoy those things, that is wonderful. But that is not something we do at our house. We just do not. One, I am terribly, have this huge fear of birds. I don't know why. Nothing traumatic has ever happened to me involving a bird. In fact, I have bird houses and I feed birds and I love to watch them from a distance, but I'm so terrified of birds that there is no way in the world I would have chickens in my yard. I would not ever go outside if I had chickens in my yard. And I know they're not out to get me or hurt me, but I'm afraid of them and I don't know why. So I don't have chickens. Another reason is we don't really eat a lot of eggs. If I have to bake something, I'll just purchase eggs then at the store. Once a month, we may have breakfast food for supper, but we're really not a bunch of egg eaters. And so it would make no sense for me to have chickens. And even if we did eat a lot of eggs, I still wouldn't have chickens because it's just easier for me to run to the store and buy eggs. So I don't want to put in that work and that effort and the expense of having them. And so if you don't raise chickens, I just want you to know we're in this together and you can still homeschool and not raise chickens. And also with the bread, it's like everybody's got a sourdough starter, everybody. And I don't have that on my counter. I don't have the patience to do that. I don't want to do that. We don't eat a lot of bread either. Now, if we go to a restaurant and they have bread, then I'm all for it. But we are not sandwich eaters. We just don't have bread with supper every night. And so it would make no sense for me to make bread. The one time I actually was going to make something from scratch, like biscuits, while I was doing it, I was like, why am I doing this? I'm wasting time. I have Pillsbury frozen biscuits in the freezer. And instead, I'm dirtying up my kitchen and wasting time. I could be doing something else when I could just take that out. So for me, it's about convenience and what we really like and what we really need. So if you're not raising chickens or baking your own bread, that's okay. You can still be a wonderful homeschool family and love your family without doing those things. And if you are doing those things, then great. Send me some bread. I'll be glad to try it. But that's the first thing we don't do. The second thing we don't do is we do not have a set get up time and get dressed and get started. That's just not how we roll. I do get up at the same time every day because I like to see my husband before he goes to work. But for my son, he doesn't. He does not have a set wake up time. He goes to bed at a very decent time and he normally wakes up between 8:30 and 9:15. And I feel like that's pretty reasonable. We get up, we do our own things. I have chores to do. He has things he does in the morning, like work out and all that. And so we really don't have a start time. We start when we're ready to start. And I know for a lot of you that's hard because you're like, yeah, we like to get started at this time and get done before lunch. No, we don't get done before lunch. We may do math or read aloud before lunch, but we really don't worry about it. And I know a lot of people say, well, if you're not teaching him how to get up and get ready, then how's he going to have a job? Well, we know how to get up and get ready. I was a public school teacher for 13 years. I had to get up and get ready. He also went to school. Up and through 3rd grade, he went to school. So he knows. He even knows now, if we have somewhere to be, we set a clock and we get up and get ready. He understands that because I've taught him that we respect other people's time. We get there on the time we're supposed to be there, and he knows how to do that. And as for getting dressed, I know a lot of people are sticklers for getting dressed, and I've never been like that. I love to be in my pajamas or my joggers, and honestly, most days that's how you're going to find me. If I'm just going to be at my house doing house things like homeschooling and taking the dog out and cleaning and all those kind of things, I'm not going to wear clothes that I would wear out to, see friends or something. I mean, even if I do that, I'm not dressing up. But I don't mind being in my pajamas. I am a very productive person by nature, and so is my son. And it really doesn't matter what I have on. I can get stuff done no matter what I have on because that's the kind of person I am. So it's not a big deal for us to be in our pajamas. We get dressed when we need to go somewhere. We get up and use, an alarm, and we know how to get somewhere on time. So I don't really worry about that. Again, if you do, that's fine. The third thing that we don't do, and before I do the third thing, I actually have on pajamas right now. I usually, when I film videos, change my shirt and have pajamas on because I like to be comfortable. But in just a little while, we're getting ready and we're going somewhere. So it's going to all be all right. The third thing that we do not do is we do not have screen time limits in our home. Now, I'm only dealing with one child. He is 14 years old. And I'll actually share a video I shared about how we handle screen time in our home. It's an older video, but I still feel exactly the same. And I'll put it down in the comments below. But we just don't. Our family does a lot of things. We have a lot of interests, including my son. He loves to go to the park. He loves to read. He loves to do karate. He does that 3 times a week. He loves to do a lot of things. He's very busy. He works out. And if he wants to wind down by using a screen of some sort, whether it be a video game or his phone or his iPad, I do not mind at all because we do the same thing. My husband likes to come in from work, and after he's greeted all of us and talked to us and we've had supper, he likes to wind down. He likes to watch movies, and he likes to use his screens. And so for us, it's just not a big deal. We have really entrusted our son to learn how to regulate himself when it comes to screen time because in the end, isn't that what we want? We want our kids to be able to know when they've had enough of something and know how to limit themselves. And I think because we didn't enforce like time limits on those kind of things, he has naturally learned how to regulate his time on screens. He will come down from playing video games and be like, I need to take a break from that. Or I'm tired of watching YouTube. I'm going to go do something in my room. He's really good and he's learned that on his own. And I think it's from us kind of backing off and letting him kind of develop it for himself. And that's important. That's an important skill to have even when you're older. So those are the 3 things that we don't do. Now, of course, like I said, if you do these things, that's fine because what works for your family is what works. And these are the things that just work for us. So please share down in the comments one thing that you don't do in your homeschool that you see other families doing. I promise nobody's going to judge you. This is a judge-free zone, or I'm not going to judge you because I know that doing what's best for your family is what matters in the end. So leave that down in the comments. Be sure to check out that playlist. And as always, thank you so much for watching.